one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. Welcome to the show, Friday, June 18th, 2021. It's the Monty Show, live on YouTube and anywhere you get a podcast. Make sure that you hit subscribe on the old YouTube machine. First of all, give us a thumbs up right now. You're on the show. Just go ahead and tap the thumbs up button. Not for Jake, but for me, right? And then give us a subscribe, because when we get to 1,500 subscribers, we're going to give away an Xbox Series S. Don't be a simp. Anyway, go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll hook you up with an Xbox S, or one of our subscribers, not all 1,500, coming up when we get to 1,500. So, amazing. I just a soliloquy about how frustrating Apple products can be.
Wait, did you just use the word soliloquy?
Yeah, that's an actual word. You know what that? You know that, right?
That's a real word?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, that Round Lake education's really coming through, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's twice in a week I've cracked Round Lake Beach, Illinois education.
Okay. Wow.
It's not good.
Okay.
Soliloquy. What does soliloquy mean? I don't know. So, of course, I start the show. I sleep until 7:15 today. Unbelievable. Thank you, Yelp, for having Juneteenth as an official company holiday.
Wait, are we doing a show today?
No. All 86 people who heard that we were not doing a show today, I don't know where you got that. We said on the show yesterday we'd be starting late. Anyway, you're deaf. It's fine. You don't need to listen to a talk show. The point is, listen, Linda. So I sleep late. We get down here, I rock and roll, turn on the Apple MacBook Pros, all like 16 of them that we use for the show. And then, of course, there's security updates that are mandatory.
Bro.
So if the show goes off the air, it's Apple's fault, not mine. I just want you to know that. The Russians are always trying to hack into our stuff.
Yeah.
We have Hunter Biden's laptop that we bought on the internet, and
it's
we use it for the show.
Laptop.
That's a nice laptop.
Yeah.
Does the job.
It does have launch codes on it, in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's really an effective tool, unlike Mike Conley, who's a tool, but he's ineffective because he's not Bojan. What? Bojan's the best shooter ever.
What?
Look at the first half the other day. Anyway, let's talk NBA playoff basketball. Huge game tonight, game 6 for your Utah Jazz. And I am amazed how many people yesterday were in full-on panic mode, like, oh, that's it. Don't even go to L.A. Just end the season. Fire Quin, which we're going to talk about in a minute, firing Quin. But why is there this assumption that the Utah Jazz are going to L.A. to die? They're still on par with the Clippers. Are they injured? Yes. Is Donovan Mitchell 50, 60%? Yes. But he's still effective. Mike Conley, you have to believe, will play tonight. And if he doesn't, I don't know what that says about Mike, or that he's not even willing to try with the season on the line would be shocking to me. Mm-hmm. But I think it's really interesting, Jake, that so many Jazz fans are in full-on panic mode and they just want to end the season like, oh, there's no doubt they're going to lose.
Yeah, well, I think it's because, you haven't really seen the Jazz lose at home like that. You haven't seen the Jazz really ever. It's almost like this situation before Game 5 where, it's like, all right, we're good. We're going home. We're going to win this game, no doubt about it. I mean, it's the Viv. Come on. I mean, this is where this is where road teams go to die, essentially, and then you lose the game. And I think it just was shocking to fans. They were really surprised that the Clippers were actually capable of doing that. And so I think when you ask the question of why people are questioning this Jazz team right now, I think it's partially because they're shocked, frankly, that they lost at home. But then secondly, I think that the way they lost, the way in which the game went down, it gives you cause for a lot of questions about how exactly the Jazz are going to go ahead and win this game tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I my opinion is that every game is a different incident. Every game is a very different story. And, I look at all the comments this morning. By the way, Eric C., no, you were not first in today.
No.
That would be Gabe Ledley, who said, my dudes.
Hi.
Lopes up, Gabe. Eric C., good to see you. Cody Strickland says, it's about time.
Cody.
I know, we're here for Cody Strickland, and that's it. Swiderski, what is up,
What's up,
Swiderski? Haven't seen you in a while. He says, how fast is he says, hey, guys, by the way, Brylark says, how fast is the front office cleaned out if the Jazz lose this series? You know, it's just amazing to me that so many people are convinced this series is over already. And it's that sentiment, like, you know, Cody Strickland said he listened to David Locke, the play-by-play guy for the Utah Jazz, who does like a podcast, by the way. Mm-hmm. He listened to David Locke's podcast, and even David Locke was depressed.
Yeah.
And it's like, have we just forgotten how good this Jazz team was?
Well,
and no. Oh, please.
Well, I
no,
just,
Jake, go ahead.
It's not as though it's the same team as it was before. I think it's a combination of things that are causing people a lot of concern. I think, yes, the Conley situation, the Donovan Mitchell situation. Mm-hmm. I think people are truly starting to agree with you and your takes about how athletic the Clippers are.
Yes.
And so I think people are just kind of taking the injuries plus the athleticism and what the Clippers are able to do on defense, and they're saying, we don't know how we're going to overcome that. And we're going to get to that in a couple minutes on the show about what they need to do tonight. But I think the reason that there's so much, the word I like to use is hysteria, because that's what it was on Twitter when they lost the game. I mean, Twitter was just insane. And I think the reason for that is because Jazz fans are starting to realize there isn't a right in front of your face obvious answer as to how they're going to go about winning these games. And I think that's why people are freaking out right now. Think about it. This whole season, when was the last time the Jazz didn't have an answer? In the Memphis series, it was like, Donovan Mitchell just didn't play in game one. He came back.
It's
fine.
Memphis.
It's Memphis, like who cares, right? But in this series,
truth,
it's not just Memphis. I mean, this is a really good Clippers team right now. So that's why I think people are freaking out.
Yeah, and I think that the shocking part was that you get a situation where Kawhi Leonard has this knee injury. He's not going to play in Game 5, and you assume you should win that game. And I wonder how much of that permeated the Jazz locker room. I wonder how many of those Jazz players let down when they're like, we're shooting the lights out, it's over. I wonder how much of a letdown that was.
That's a great point. I mean, I got to think that it not only permeated the Jazz locker room, but also the Clippers locker room, because the Clippers heard the noise too.
Yeah.
Hey, Kawhi's out. We're underdogs. There's no chance for us to win this game.
It's over. We're not beating the Jazz.
Yeah, you're telling me Reggie Jackson didn't come out on a mission, like to put up all those points?
Reggie Jackson, you're telling me that Paul George didn't come out on a mission? I think he did.
But I struggle. So let's say that did happen. Let's say that the Jazz were like, Kawhi's out. We're at home. This should be like a 10-point win. Which is what a lot of people were saying. That in itself would be a bit concerning, just because it's the playoffs. Nothing is assumed. I mean, again, you're playing the Clippers, not the Memphis Grizzlies. So I don't know. I guess my whole thing here is that this Jazz team right here today is nothing similar to what we saw in the regular season because of all the injuries. They're
right.
being forced to play, in my opinion, with one hand behind their back. When you don't have Conley, Gobert's role is limited, Don's hurt, like you're in this rough situation. So, yeah, I think that's why people are freaking out.
Well, look, I think the one thing that you have to remember is this is still a very good Jazz team. This is still the team that finished the season with the best record. This is still the team that Vegas has as a 1.5 favorite in this game. Their number's 220. The Jazz are 1.5. I mean, the respect has not completely gone away. What's gone away is the belief, right? And it's that whole PTSD, not to minimize that, but it's PTSD from the Jazz previous seasons, going out in the first round, going out in the bubble, that consistent disappointment of the Gordon Hayward era, not doing the right things to put this team in position to win. And what I'm telling you is you have about 7 guys on this roster and a head coach who are committed to doing everything that they can do to winning, and they are capable of going to Los Angeles tonight and winning. I'm not guaranteeing you a win. I still think we're going to get 7 games out of this series. I think the Jazz will likely win tonight. But I also think it's really foolish if you're just checking the box that the season ends tonight in Los Angeles, because I don't think that's a gimme. I think this Jazz team is full of heart. We saw that they never quit the other night, even when when they were, frustrated and throwing their hands up. Marcus Morris hit that three, and Bojan Bogdanovic threw his hands up like, what are we going to do here? In pure frustration. They're not just sitting on their hands like, well, let's hope it goes in tonight. Well, let's hope we play better. You can't tell me that Quin Snyder and his staff, who are very good, have not come up with a game plan to use those. And it is literally, unless Conley plays, it is 7 guys.
Yeah.
You cannot play Oni tonight. You cannot play George Niang tonight.
Yeah.
The season is on the line. Arguably, Quin Snyder's job is on the line.
Yep.
And I just think you have to lock this thing down, and you have to make some adjustments. Let's talk about those adjustments.
Yeah.
I think right away, in my mind, I go back to what happened on Wednesday night. And the adjustments that I see them making are, you can only make the adjustments with the 7 guys that you're really running.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you look at their lineup, it's O'Neal, Bogey, Rudy, Jingles, and Don. Okay, so that's your starting 5. And then I truly think it's Clarkson and Derek Favors.
Yeah.
Those are the 7 guys that you can legitimately rely on. And if Mike Conley plays, okay, great, figure it out. But I look at Oni and George Niang. You cannot play George Niang tonight.
No.
You can't. So where are those 9 minutes going? Well, they're going right into Rudy Gobert's column. You've got to play Rudy Gobert, in my opinion, 40, 45 minutes tonight.
Do you think, to that end, that Rudy Gobert can stay out of foul trouble playing that many minutes?
I don't know.
Is he capable?
He is. I don't think he will. Because emotionally, Rudy Gobert is struggling. Mm-hmm. He cannot control his emotions. Mm-hmm. And, it's the one thing that really separates the Phoenix Suns from just about everybody else. They're a very level emotional team. The Jazz are not. The Jazz get caught up in the ref game. The Jazz get caught up in the, Marcus Morris stepped over you, try to trip him game.
Yeah.
It's just real foolishness that the Jazz, when they're not playing well, they're on the wrong end of it every single night.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to play Rudy more. And your point is well taken. I mean, he cannot be in 4 fouls in the third quarter.
Yeah, it can't be. And I think that's the hard part about this matchup, because I feel like, if we go back, and I think this is what you have to do as a Jazz fan. You got to go back to game 1 and game 2 where you absolutely trounced them, and you got to think about, okay, what does that look like? What did we do well in those 2 games that allowed us to dominate them? And I think the first 2 games was a lot of momentum for sure. You came out, you were feeling great about yourself, and you were very confident. You knocked down a lot of shots. But as this series has worn on, the Clippers' confidence has also come back, and the point I'm getting at here is that confidence allows them. It allows Terrence Mann to go up on Rudy. It allows PG to get physical with Rudy, and so I think it's really hard. To me, it's a big ask to ask Rudy to play 40, 45 minutes and not be in foul trouble. I mean, that's going to require him to pick and choose when he goes up with guys at the rim. And I think that's a really interesting thing to watch in this game.
Well, the other thing that I would ask you here is, did the Jazz really dominate in games 1 and 2?
I mean, they made a hell of a lot of shots, but I don't. Here's the thing. I know I'm the guy who's been more about the Clippers, on the show, and I don't want to take game 1 and game 2 and be like, oh, well, the Clippers just played bad. Like the Jazz made all those shots. The Jazz, were Donovan Mitchell specifically was torching the Clippers, and then of course they made defensive adjustments and are not allowing him to do that anymore. So it's kind of hard for me to say, did the Jazz play really well? Well, yeah, I think they did play really well. Don was hitting a lot of big time shots in those games, but also with that, like running parallel to that, I think you were at home. You had just come off the Memphis series, and you were feeling great about yourself.
And you were well rested.
Yeah, you
were well rested. And the interesting thing about adjustments as we sit here and talk about it, just looking back at numbers wise, and I look at a situation where Rudy Gobert played 35 minutes essentially in both of those first 2 games. Mm-hmm. As they've struggled more and more, Rudy's minutes have actually gone up. He played 42 the other night, but he's been in the high 30s, low 40s the rest of this series. And I think there is a direct correlation to the Jazz inability to execute offensively. You remember, I think it was game 1 where he blocked that shot in the corner.
Yeah, on Morris.
Yeah. And, that was the play of the series until they lost game 3, game 4, and game 5.
Isn't that funny, though? Isn't that funny? That's the play of the series in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, and
Right?
for the Jazz, and this is something to seriously consider. I mean, if you think about the importance of that Rudy play, that Rudy block, that was the high watermark in this series. 45 for 45, and that Rudy block, that was the high watermark of this series.
Yeah.
And now, slowly, Ty Lue has started running circles around Quin Snyder adjustment-wise. And this is not to say that that's Quin Snyder's fault. Quin Snyder doesn't exactly have a real deep tool bag here. I mean, there's not a whole lot of adjustment. You're going to, again, I'll just keep saying, you're going to play 7 guys tonight. And that's it. You're not playing 8, 9, 10. And this vaunted Jazz depth that supposedly is the best in the NBA that never was is now coming back to handicap you. And you don't have a matchup for Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
Even if Conley's healthy, do you really have a matchup for Reggie Jackson?
And what does healthy look like for Conley right now? I mean,
is it James Harden healthy? If we're talking hamstrings, I mean, James Harden has limped his way around. Are we expecting Mike Conley to be any even shadow of who Mike Conley is at 100%, the all-star point guard that's dropping threes all over Memphis? And
yeah,
I don't.
I don't think you can expect him to be playing at that level, but certainly, I mean, if he's going to be on the floor, I'd really like to see him be able to at least facilitate. At a minimum, be able to bring the ball up to get Don off the ball, which then pushes everybody down a rung on the offense, like what you can do offensively. Yeah. So if he can just bring the ball up and get the offense initiated, and then, he can be the guy that gets forgotten about on by the Clippers defense, and he knocks down the corner 3 or the wing 3, great. I mean, that's what I think, Mike Conley's capable of. Now, I do think, and we saw this specifically with Harden, that first game that Harden played 46 seconds, he came out trying to be his usual self and pulled his hamstring, you know? So does Conley do that? I don't know. I just legitimately don't know if the guy's going to play. I mean, he's been questionable for like 10 days.
He has to play. I think, and this is something, and I see all the comments and we're coming to that. The question is, what if Mike Conley doesn't play?
Yeah.
And you look at James Harden, who is clearly not himself. In Game 5 and 6, you could see he was not himself. But he's got a bunch of tape on his legs. He's out there not running at full speed. You can see that. But he's contributing. And the question is, if Mike Conley doesn't even attempt to play tonight, I think it does real damage to his tenure in Utah.
I agree.
Because I think if he doesn't play tonight, he does not come back. And I think if he plays tonight, even if he's ineffective, I think it says something to his level of commitment to this franchise. And it would be, and look, I don't ever question a guy's ability to play through injuries or if a guy's really injured. I have no doubt that Mike Conley's injured. He's always injured. But are you telling me you're injured to the point where you can't even make a run at it? I have a hard time believing that. This is a mild hamstring strain.
Well, that's what they've been telling us.
I have a hard time believing he can't even make a go. Play 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can't even...
No, I don't know. I mean,
that'd
can
be
it be
shocking?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see a reality tonight where he comes off the bench and, gives you some minutes. I could see that, play hurt, but give this team some minutes. I mean, I think your point about his reputation getting absolutely shredded here in Salt Lake if he doesn't even play, I mean, I think that's a real thing. That said, if they win the game, it doesn't matter if he plays or not, right? If you win this game tonight, then that's not really a conversation. But I think worst case scenario would be like, hey, you lost the game, Mike didn't play, you're...
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's worst case scenario.
All right, let's get some of your comments in here. Brylark says, well, Monty wears the same black T-shirt every day, so that's not saying much. It's like his uniform now.
Been his uniform.
Okay, I don't know how to break this news to anybody. I have one color in my closet.
Really?
What do you mean?
Just one color? That's it? You
that's
don't have
it.
That all black?
I am an all black guy. I have about 20 of this exact T-shirt. I have like 4 or 5 Callaway polos that are all black. I have 3-4 button-ups that are all black. That's how we roll. I like that black is slimming. I don't want people looking at my 6-pack abs. So, it's pretty much something that people just know about. I think it's part of my brand now.
Yeah.
I just wear the same black polo or T-shirt every day.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. I really don't. Austin Lewis says, look at Monty raising our spirits. Yeah, I'm not trying to play that role today. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm surprised at how down Jazz fans are.
Why?
Because it's one loss.
Right. But it's how you lost. It's where you lost.
Yeah.
It's what happened in the game.
Yeah, I get it. Cody Strickland says, and Donovan is questionable. He's standing next to Conley and staring him down with his hands on his hips saying, what are you going to do tonight? Yeah, there you go. Austin Lewis says, sup, boys?
What up?
Swiderski says they need to defend better. Mirzinski says, morning, guys.
Donnie?
I got to get rid of this cough. It's terrible. Mirzinski says, morning, guys. The most important thing about tonight is how are Mitchell and Conley? Mitchell didn't look like himself in Game 6. No, he didn't.
No. Not even close.
He had no lift. That was the thing. He had no fire in those feet, and that's a problem. Tanner Plummer says, Rudy needs to be traded, in my opinion. Well, I mean, Tanner, if I gave you a flamethrower, my guess is you'd burn the whole damn thing down. I mean, that would be my guess. I don't know. Look, I was talking to an NBA guy yesterday, oddly enough, about the Suns. We were having a conversation about the Suns, and we started talking about the Jazz. And he made a really interesting point. He said, hey, Monty, do you think if Rudy was up for a contract today that they'd give him $205 million?
No.
And I said, absolutely, I don't. And he said, yeah, no. Big men are not going to get paid that kind of money. If you can't shoot and score, you're not going to get that kind of money.
It's an offensive league.
And he went on to say, hey, this is shocking. And this is a guy who works in front offices and knows front office people, and he's a really well-respected front office guy saying, yeah, it was shocking that Rudy got that money. And it was almost sobering to hear him say that, because you look at the money that Giannis is getting. Okay, I kind of understand that. Giannis is an offensive juggernaut because he dunks and he can
do stuff for you.
He at least can attempt threes. Rudy and Ben Simmons cannot. And I think you're seeing, and he made another interesting point. The Clint Capella contract that almost immediately got traded. Like, Clint Capella got dumped quickly by Atlanta, and look where Atlanta is. Or to Atlanta, and look where Atlanta is. Yeah. So a mobile big man that can play a little bit,
has athleticism,
is valuable.
Yes.
But his contract wasn't to the point where you couldn't move it, and it wasn't pliable for you. Houston needed to shed money, and they were able to do that because Capella can give you stuff off it. Look at how he is impacting.
He can give you good minutes. He's also not 7'2" or whatever Rudy is. I mean, I think that if you're asking me what a great big man in today's game looks like, I think a great big man in today's game is athletic for his size, which means that he can move his feet, he can guard a four. I also think that a big man in today's game needs to be able to shoot the elbow jumper, and the elites are able to shoot the three whenever they want, and from there, I think they also have to be able to play the pick and roll, and they got to be able to play the pick and pop, which is why that jumper is so important. And I look at Rudy and I say, hey, yeah, you're this awesome defensive guy, but 4, 5, 6, 7 times the other night, there were wide open looks at the rim that you didn't rotate quick enough on, and that's another question that I have tonight. Is he going to do? He doesn't do a great job of getting in position early enough to put the Clippers in a bad spot. He did it for that stretch where he got all those putbacks. But
it wasn't that he ran down the floor and posted up.
No.
You missed a jumper.
Yeah, and he cleaned it up,
and that's his forte. But that's two baskets. He had in the second half. You can't rely on that. Austin Lewis says, Josh Groban, you raise me up is the vibe Monty is giving me. I'm trying, man. Anytime I can beat Josh Groban, he's got far better hair than I do. Mm-hmm. But, anytime I can beat Josh Groban, I'm happy to do it. Carter says, Monty and Jake are both dressed in black today. They must be planning on a funeral tonight. They figured it out, Jake. They cracked the code.
Like that Clippers defense.
Okay, stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
That was cold.
Swiderski says they need to take painkillers and leave their heart on the court. Ooh. Not
Yeah,
at that
I mean,
point.
I think this is one of those games that, this is that. I don't disagree with that. This is that classic. You have to leave it all out there tonight to win the game.
Yeah, and now I get why Brylark said that. Because, like, these, just real quick, it's very difficult to read the comments in order because we get a lot of comments on the show, so I call them comment dumps. And it's just like fast forwards to the bottom. So I apologize if I read some of those out of order. AK, what's up? With Dwayne backing the Jazz, I believe the Jazz will slowly make adjustments to their roster. It's not going to be slowly. I think at some point,
it can't be.
If you truly believe that you're a championship organization, and I believe Ryan Smith wants to be that, if you believe you're a championship organization, if they lose tonight, Monday's show will be a very different conversation about the Utah Jazz. Because I think Dennis Lindsey is one of those guys. And we're going to talk about Quinn in a minute, so hang on for that. Driftwood says, if Mike Conley's leg is still attached, he needs to play tonight.
I agree.
Yeah. Absolutely agree, Driftwood with Driftwood, Eric C. says. Brylark says, I went to work with a hangnail once. Conley can get some minutes on that hammy. I agree. I mean, I every day, I'm having to battle things like, a twitching eyelid or a hangnail is a great example. My shoelace comes untied sometimes. I risk my back pain to tie my shoelace.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. E says we blew it. Quinn blew it. Jazz FO did nothing, front office, did nothing during midseason before the deadline. Props to the Suns to pay CP3, whatever his huge contract says.
Yeah.
Red Heart Norvis says, imagine we have a guy like Brandon Ingram or Miles Turner. Like B.I. would be a perfect fit in this offense. Real low-key personality.
Wing score.
Lethal mid-range game at the elbow.
Becoming a better defender.
Yep, can shoot the three, long as the day is. Yep. I absolutely agree with that. I just think it's difficult. Eric C. says, I'm waiting for the breaking news mid-show that Conley's out. It's 3 losses in a row. It is 3 losses in a row, and I agree with that. And that's why I say, how many teams are capable of beating the Jazz 4 times in 4 games, 4 in a row?
You would think not very many, but where this team is at, it's very much possible.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if I agree with that. Ace says, for once you're saying something nice about the Jazz. You must have gotten a lot of sleep. Well, it's not that I don't say nice things about the Jazz.
As usual, we have to have this conversation.
It's not that I don't say nice things about the Jazz. I just think that the Jazz have been a fatally flawed team since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
This is not new on this show. If you've watched this show for any amount of time, we've talked about the fact that I have felt like all season long that when they were healthy, the Lakers were the best team, the Suns were second, and the Clippers were third. And I think the Jazz were fourth because they're not a deep team. They've never had great depth. And any team that relies on the 3 dies on the 3. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that in this series where, Bogey comes out and shoots 6 of 7 from 3 in the first quarter and then essentially doesn't give you much more the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And is a 0 in the third quarter, does not score in the third quarter. And when you have guys like that you can target and you can say, okay, I don't have to worry about Rudy Gobert on his offense. I don't have to worry about it. Let me just push this guy out of the way. Okay, well, I don't have to really worry about Royce O'Neal on offense. Let me push this guy out of the way.
Yep.
Oh, let me step up and be real physical with Boyan in the third quarter. Let me just go ahead and push that guy out of the way. Oh, Donovan Mitchell's ankle hurts? Let's just go ahead and push that guy out of the way.
Yep.
Okay, well, what are you left with? Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson. Because the thing that's shocking to me is how little you've gotten from Derek Favors in the last week. Like, where did Derek Favors go? Remember the guy that had a bunch of energy in his legs and was dunking in early in the series, and you were like, wow, this guy, what a heck of a signing to come back here because he wants to win a champion. Well, where the hell is that guy?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen that guy in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think the Jazz are out at sea right now. I think they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. I think they're a little bit lost right now. And again, I try not to be super negative all the time about the Jazz, but I agree with you. I don't have a choice but to agree with you. They're a flawed team. They can shoot the 3 at a really high percentage, but if you're giving the Clippers 60 points and a half, you're not going to win that game. And that's why I say tonight's going to be really interesting. The game 5 adjustment was to have Don run point and to open the game that way. Well, what are you going to do for game 6? Because Don can't be on the ball for game 6.
Well, and to me, that's really interesting Who brings the ball up tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it can't be Donovan Mitchell. I mean, and I'm really not a big fan of Point Jingles because he's just, again, I love the guy. The guy can shoot the hell out of the ball, but that's basically what he can do. He is not, I don't want to see the Patrick Beverley turnover on Joe Ingles at a critical point in the game tonight. That can't happen.
Or the foul at half court, or
any of that stuff.
The thing with Joe Ingles, and the reason you love Joe Ingles and you hate Joe Ingles is because he does one thing really well.
Mm-hmm.
He stands in a spot, catches the ball high at his face, and shoots the three, and it goes in. The problem is when he brings up the ball, he can't be spotted up. So he has to run a route to get back to a place. And by the time, when you have guys like Don and Jordan Clarkson on your team, by the time you run that route and get spotted up, it's over.
And that physical as defense the Clippers are rolling out.
Yeah, and you're already running back down the other end. And that's why I also think one of the things you have to see tonight is who gets to the penalty first?
Mm-hmm.
Who's shooting free throws first? I think that's a huge question. Ian says, how have I never noticed Monty's tat? Because I've only had it a week. Not even a week. It's a week tomorrow. And tomorrow, actually, I can never get this right looking at the camera. It's a lion with roses, and it's the beginning of a sleeve, by the way. Tomorrow, it'll be colored. We're going to drop some red in there on the roses, shade, and contrast the lion's face. Like, it'll be different. If you follow me on Instagram, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show, I've tweeted a little bit about it, but I've put a lot of Insta stories up about my tattoo. But it's great. I love it. The guy that I went to, Michael Bergfalk, is just incredible. The line work, and you can't really see it unless you look at the pictures. The line work is flawless. It is. The vision I had was not as good as the lines in this tattoo. It's amazing. And tomorrow's the torture chamber known as coloring. Because getting color tattoos, there was not a lot. Everybody asked me this, well, does it hurt? Did it hurt, Mont? It didn't hurt.
Mont.
It doesn't. Down by the wrist, where the leaves are, like down by the vein, it's a little tender there when they're doing it.
Yeah.
The problem with color is you dump a bunch of, on the flowers, you're going to dump a bunch of red in there, and then you got to go back over it 2 or 3 times. So it's like you have a scrape, then you scrape over it again, and then you scrape over it again with needles that are powered by electricity.
Well,
yeah, what would hurt about that? That sounds like something reasonable people would do.
I want it.
Not really. Anyway, and yes, it's sort of new, Ian. Wait till it's done. Monty's going to get blasted. Yeah, probably. But the problem is this is the problem in life. I really don't care what other people think.
yeah.
So, Swiderski said, wow, comment dump. Let's see. Yes, we miss him too. Let's see. This is Conley's last shot, Cody Strickland says, at a championship as a true member of a team, not a sign-on veteran. Play the damn game, Mike. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Agreed.
I don't know what Swiderski, who are you talking about? He says, yes, we miss him too. Cody Strickland says he got it done last week. Yes, I did. Mark Alexander Urel says Favors is at the morgue from Kawhi's dunk.
Is this the dagger?
Well, can't say you're wrong, Urel.
Dude.
Cannot say you're wrong, bro.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
That was amazing. Scream at 3:33 a.m. Okay. Says Jazz need to play Niang more. Give me more Niang.
Okay.
Why would you come in here and say such hurtful things, Scream? Cambo Text says Jazz need to fire Quin Snyder. Worst coach in the NBA.
All right, we're going to move on here.
Red Heart Norvis says Jordan Clarkson plays hero ball Filipino style because he needs to. It's a way he can be allowed by FIBA to play as a local. However, it affects the Jazz. I don't know what that means.
What the hell are,
I don't know what that means. What it means, I think, is that Jordan Clarkson shoots a lot. I would agree, but that it's not hero ball when that's what you've done all season long.
Yeah.
It's hero ball when Don takes 38 straight shots and Boyan's essentially got a camping chair in the corner and he's just chilling there in his chair. Right? There are times where Donovan Mitchell plays 1-on-5 because there might as well not be another teammate over half court.
Yep.
And that's hero ball. Kirk Lazarus says Boyan will be the hero. All right. Ian says looks awesome. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. Red Heart Norvis says the dagger usually is a 3-ball, but the game was the dunk on Gobert by man and transformed Gobert into a kitten.
You specifically talked about that.
But that's when the game ended.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is Rudy is soft. Rudy is not, and I think there's this belief that Rudy Gobert's a badass. He lifts weights. He drinks egg yolks for breakfast.
My fucking ass.
Terrence Mann apparently had some of those egg yolks. It's Terrence Mann. Don't ever play that for him again. It's Terrence Mann. Thank you. With
right.
two M's, with two N's, one M.
You're right.
My point is, Rudy's soft. Rudy is a big guy who doesn't play physical basketball. And if you watch it, and if you watch him in that fourth quarter, he had 3-4 opportunities to step up and do it again and block a shot, and he didn't do it because he's soft. And the thing that big guys understand in this league, everybody gets dunked on. Everybody gets dunked on. Big guys, small guys, your mom, like everybody gets dunked on.
If you felt these balls.
Why? Ian says, I can see Snyder as a coke dealer.
Well,
he does kind of have that Narcos look to him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He, boy, do you guys, here's what I like about Quin Snyder. When the Jazz are losing, I feel bad saying this. When the Jazz are losing and you get that shot of Quin Snyder, and you know when it's that 1,000-mile stare.
And he's got like the hair hanging down on his forehead.
And he's just chomping on that gum.
I didn't sleep for the past 2 nights because of this. I was that upset.
Right? Like, he is just dialed in on something. And it's usually somebody who did something, and he's just like, good job. Good. I'm glad you're here. Good job. You know, like, I love Quin Snyder. Let's talk about Quin.
Yeah.
If they lose this game, you should not fire Quin Snyder. And a lot of people yesterday were like, oh, Rick Carlisle. Whoa, Rick Carlisle's available. Fire Quin Snyder. This team sucks.
Amateurs.
Okay, well, here's my question for you. If you fire Quin Snyder and you bring in Rick Carlisle, you're still playing 7 guys. It's still the coach handcuffed, right? Because the roster construction is the problem on this team. It's not the coach. It's the general manager. And I'm telling you, if you're going to make major changes, start in the front office and leave the bench alone. Because you have a phenomenal coaching staff here. One of the best. And I think it's widely agreed that the Brooklyn Nets coaching staff, from a basketball IQ quality standpoint, the assistant row in Brooklyn is unbelievable.
Full of Hall of Famers.
Right? I mean, it's really good. The Lakers have a really good staff. Quin Snyder's up there among the best staffs in the NBA.
You're talking about a coaching staff who took a team with a bunch of guys who were nobodies and has taken them potentially to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, that's just like, take your fandom out of it. Just saying that is absolutely insane. Like, see, Mrs. Monty's in the background asking, she's hungry.
See, here's the problem, is we ordered Grubhub, and it's going to go poorly. I think we all can just...
Why do you keep doing Grubhub?
Well, what other choice do I have?
DoorDash.
DoorDash blows.
Dude.
DoorDash blows.
God.
Oh, he's driving up the street right now, according to the app.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever.
There you go. I'm just saying, the thing is that I think Quin Snyder's not the problem here.
No, he's not the problem. It is the roster. To me, honestly, everybody's available except for Donovan Mitchell. Every single player on this roster is available except for Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Like, I'm getting rid of Dennis Lindsey, and then I'm going to remake this roster, and it's going to have a lot more wing scoring. It's going to have a lot more athleticism, and we're going to try and keep some of that shooting. We can't. They're too skewed towards the shooting. So, yeah, that's what I'd do.
I think, unfortunately, if you hire a general manager, they generally want to hire a coach.
Yeah.
And so if you're firing Dennis Lindsey, which I absolutely advocate for, he's done a great job for the organization. He's been miserable in the draft. But I think he's done a really good job in building a certain dynamic, Dennis Lindsey. But he's one of those guys that I think you can only take you so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dennis Lindsey be in play for the Dallas Mavericks job, frankly. That's great. Let him go. This team needs a change because you cannot have the roster the Jazz have and hope to win a championship.
That's exactly what you're doing, though. You're hoping.
You're hoping. You're not actually doing what needs to be done to win a championship. You're not.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as you come along to that, whether the Jazz win this series or not, they're not, in my opinion, they don't get by the Suns, depending on Chris Paul's availability. If the Jazz were to win this series, I mean, you would clearly be able to see that it's not Quin Snyder's fault.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it is even now. Like, I don't. Like, I think he's doing everything that he can do to put this team in a good position. But again, the thing, and this is what series end up getting boiled down to, right? Any series we're talking about, we're seeing it with the Nets. At the end of the day, it comes down to which of your guys is going to consistently win their individual matchup.
But wait. Do you believe in Quin Snyder?
Yes, I believe in Quin Snyder. Yes.
What's the biggest knocks I have on Quin Snyder is his generally the play design out of timeouts is not great.
Yeah.
That's my one complaint about him. I hated the other night that he was playing Niang and Oni together, and I don't care if it was for 15 seconds. I don't understand that, and there's just no way to justify it. There is no way to justify that. The thing that I say though is, and I'm with you on this. I just don't know that there's a whole bunch of X and O changes you can make.
What's he gonna do?
I mean, like, you like in Av Lee, who I think this is your first time ever on the show, so welcome. You're actually making some really good points. The team needs a big roster change. I would only leave on the team Gobert, Donovan, Bojan, Clarkson, and maybe Royce. The rest can go goodbye. What is it that you're getting from Royce O'Neal that you can't get from 1,000 other guys in this league?
Because remember, before you make this point, I just want to throw this in here. You're not trying to build a team that just kind of makes the postseason.
No.
You're trying to build a championship contender every single year. So the love affair with Royce really shouldn't be a thing because Royce, love him, he's getting his ass handed to him by Paul George consistently and Kawhi Leonard. And he's supposed to be this guy that's your shutdown defender. That is, hey, put Royce on this guy. What?
It's a Woj bomb!
Oh, God, here we go. What is it?
I haven't read it. I'm going to read it live right now. For the Jazz in Game 6 tonight in L.A.
Oh, Jesus.
Donovan Mitchell is progressing to be a game-time decision. Uh-oh. And Mike Conley is working towards a return to the lineup. So, it's...
Bro, where's the panic button? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, why are we saying that these guys are game-time decisions?
Donovan Mitchell is a game-time decision.
What in the hell is going on behind the scenes? I mean, a game-time decision? No, he's playing. He's playing. If he's not going to play, then just forfeit the game and go home. Because this game's over if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play.
It's over.
It's over. That's not a conversation. It is over. Done.
Man.
Like, you're done. I can't believe that. That's incredible to me.
Donovan Mitchell is a game-time decision.
This ankle injury is not just a sprained ankle. There is something seriously wrong in that ankle. I mean, I can't... I can't do that. I can't... No.
No what?
I can't get down with this. What do you mean he's a game-time decision? He's playing, dude. Why would you show, and this is something that you've talked about before too, why is it that you would show any weakness in his status? He is a go. Green light. The best you can do is the best you can do. That's it. Like, I'm just amazed. Honestly, I know I sound shocked because I am.
This is a bit stunning. This is a bit stunning. And again, if you just tuned in, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN NBA insider, Donovan Mitchell is a game-time decision. And Mike Conley, quote, is working towards playing.
Which means nothing. What?
Oh.
We've been hearing, he's questionable for 10 days now.
This is brutal. This is brutal. I mean, I don't know what you do. I really don't know. I don't know what you do. I mean, they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what other reality can you have. What, like, you're this is an elimination game. I mean, I just don't. You don't have the luxury of saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna play Mike as soon as we lose. We're gonna play Mike as soon as we feel like we need him."
Yeah,
bro, you're going home tonight if you don't win this game. I don't feel like they completely grasp that. Apparently, I'm just really surprised that we're sitting here having to read a Woj bomb that says, "Hey, they're game time decisions." What?
I don't know what's worse. The Grubhub driver sitting down the street from my house, probably not able to find it.
You're so fucked.
Thank you. Or the fact that Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell are game time decisions. This is really scary now. This is Eric. Eric C. Why? It's Trent Forrest time.
Seems like a great opportunity to slurp and splash.
Oh, yes, sir. Driftwood says it's a tactical strategy to throw off the Clippers.
Yeah, my ass, dude.
What's the tactic?
Was there a tactical strategy when they said Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing tonight?
It's Trent Forrest time.
Jesus.
Jesus. They need Jesus. Trust me.
Jesus or his boy Joseph, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Tyler
Dude.
Ford says, I think the Jazz org is so caught up in the family idea ingrained from the Millers that they are afraid to hurt feelings. Glad we have Ryan and Dwayne in control now.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with him 100%. I think that the Miller family really cared what the community thought, and they put community sentiment over winning a championship. And God bless Gail. I mean, she is a tremendous human being. Yeah. She did a great job guiding this organization. But it's time to start winning championships now. And to do that, this roster needs a makeover.
You know what I feel like right now? I feel like, you guys ever seen that meme where it's like dude's in the office and he's got all this stuff on his desk and he just throws it all on the floor?
Yes.
That's what I feel like right now. I just can't believe that we're talking about, like, this is not a conversation. I legitimately, it's not a conversation. If Don could play in last game, he can definitely play in this game. There was nothing that happened last game that was like out of the norm for where that ankle is at. Like, I just am, I don't know, man. This is the first time all year where I'm like, dude, like, what are we doing?
Black and Red HD says, LMAO, what was that drop?
Bro.
The new slurp drop.
Oh, yeah, dude. You guys ready?
Seems like a great opportunity to slurp and splash.
You guys ready, man? Come on, man.
Oh, I love it. That is an Arby's commercial, isn't it?
That is an Arby's commercial, yes.
You're amazing with that stuff. Good job. Austin Lewis says, if Don plays game 1 versus Memphis, then Conley doesn't get hurt in game... Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the if game is always dangerous.
Yeah, that's dangerous, Austin. I don't know if that's
true. I'm not
true
saying
or
you're wrong. I'm just saying the if game is always dangerous.
AK says, what is the matter with Ersan Ilyasova?
He's old.
And he sucks? Where are you going to play him? Honestly, where are you going to play him? I mean, where?
Yeah, you're going to play him on the 12th seat on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, who like, are you going to take minutes from Favors to play? I mean,
you're going to take minutes from Niang?
Yeah, I just don't see that he's an option in this series. I don't.
I'm not often mind blown by NBA stories, and I'm just like, wow.
Thanks, babe.
Wow. Like,
the food has arrived.
Holy crap that it's even a conversation or possibility that these two guys don't play.
Yeah, it is shocking. Again, from Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN. Donovan Mitchell is progressing to be progressing.
Yeah, which tells you right now he's in a walking boot. That's what that tells you.
If the game was right now, he would not play.
Yeah.
Mike Conley is working towards a return to the lineup.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro.
Oof. That's I don't know.
Dude, if they don't play, I mean, this is. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play,
it's over.
I mean, this is different than Kawhi not playing. I mean, with the Clippers, you still have a lot you can do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Brylark said they did a great job keeping the franchise. Oh, the Millers did a great job keeping this franchise in Utah as well. They could have easily packed it up and sold it to someone who was obviously going to move it out of Utah. The NBA would never have let that happen. I've actually had that conversation in NBA circles, and they would never have let that happen. But I see what you're saying. I agree with you on that. Brylark. I think you're exactly right. Red Heart Norvis says maybe they are creating a narrative that if the Jazz lose, it's because of injuries. I think you're past that. I think you're past it. I really do. Fibbo, the man, won. I lost my trust in Snyder. He plays Utah like it's regular season. I don't know why he doesn't go full small team with Royce on 5 instead of Favors for a couple of minutes.
See, now that's a fair question. That is a very fair question because if you went small, now you can get out and run, and that gives you a lot more flexibility offensively.
But when they go small, who do they give minutes to? George Niang.
A bunch of dudes, frankly.
George Niang.
A bunch of dudes.
Yeah, George Niang's the guy that usually winds up in that spot. And it kills you.
But as the back-end matchup, I mean, what would you rather have? I mean, it's typically the Clippers are trying to get, it's the example you always use, but it actually happened the other night, Bev on Gobert in the corner. Would you rather have that or would you rather have Niang? I mean, I think it's a legitimate question. The problem is, is you're not sitting Rudy Gobert in an elimination game. That's not happening.
Austin Lewis says, playoff Niang or prime Trent Forrest?
Dingers.
Playoff Niang. Is that a real thing, Austin? Playoff Niang, my man? Cody Strickland says, not much to work up to. It's one jersey short and a good pair of shoes and sitting down. Easy. Okay.
Hey.
Cody also says, you guys need that soundbite from Liar Liar when he farts in the elevator and screams, it was me, every time you guys are right. Well, I mean, that's the only drop we play.
Here's the thing. Here's the dark truth. When you're right all the time, you don't have to say you're right. It just goes without saying that you're right.
And then imagine, I mean, the just unbelievable combination of being good looking and right all the time. I don't know how I do it.
You don't know what that's like, clearly.
I hate you so much. By the way, we are hiring a new co-host.
Yes, we are. We are taking applications.
If Gobert had any post game, all this series is over.
See, again.
Why?
You can't get away from that.
All these new voices on the show today.
Can't get away from that, dude.
Shazar 756, welcome to the show. Av Lee says, Mike won 2 games too late. Even if Harden plays hurt, same injury, Donovan looks very, very hurt. He isn't explosive at all and basically can only pump fake and shoot.
Yeah.
Even if we pass the Clips, it's over. Yeah. I mean, Donovan's ankle's not going to be well until he's off for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that ain't happening anytime soon.
Ian says, do you guys have picks for tonight?
Well,
other than our nose, I would say.
Well, now I got to give you 2 picks because I don't know if Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley are playing because they're working up to an appearance tonight.
Boy, that is just
Jackass.
Stuck in your craw.
It's a dumb move. Why are you putting out? Why are you giving Adrian Wojnarowski information that says that they're quote working up to a game time decision? That Mike Conley is working up to making an appearance in the lineup tonight. What are you talking about, dude? What that it's so frustrating because that alludes to their mindset. The mindset shouldn't be, hey, we're working up to an appearance. The mindset is, hey, we're doing whatever it takes to play tonight. So yeah, go ahead and tell Woj that they're both going to play tonight. And it is what it is.
That's what I'd be doing.
Like, I don't know why. I just can't. And this maybe goes back to that whole thing about being small-minded as an organization. This is no major organization would ever do this. The Lakers, the Clippers. Okay, take the Clippers with Kawhi. Notice they just said, hey, he's not playing. That's it. We're putting a dagger in that. It's over. He's not playing. He's got an ACL injury. Okay, cool. Kawhi's out. Now that allows the team to plan to play without Kawhi. Like, now we can getting on. But when you say they're working up to it, that just is for the fan base, for the organization, for the guys who play. Like, that just leaves everything in a gray area.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
Yep. Shazar 756 says Jazz not punishing the Clippers for going small. Infuriating.
Yeah, well, that should be frustrating.
How do you punish them?
They only ever did it like 2 or 3 times in the regular season, but you make it a point to get Rudy the ball in the paint. You force Marcus Morris or Pat Bev or whoever, or Batum, whoever they decide they want to foul Rudy Gobert, to commit those fouls.
I think you just got to throw it to him and hope.
Yeah.
I mean, because he doesn't, anytime, again, and I'll just say, if you want to know how well the play's going to end, did Rudy dribble the ball? Okay, it's going to end poorly.
Yeah.
Did he get it close enough where he doesn't have to dribble? Okay, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, if he puts the ball on the floor, his finishing percentage is very low.
Man.
Okay, prediction for tonight. I think Donovan and Conley play. I think the Jazz lose 121 to 111. They lose by 10. It's a mentality thing that's bothering me right now. I've changed my opinion. I changed my opinion because the mentality thing of saying that these guys are working towards playing, I agree with you, shows weakness. I don't understand why that is.
When did this team become soft? We knew Rudy was soft, but when did the team, when did it become acceptable to not put up a strong front? I mean, that's the least you could do.
I'm really surprised that he wasn't trying to block those other shots.
Yeah, where did he go? Where did Rudy go? After the Terrence Mann dunk, Rudy Gobert disappeared.
Because he's mentally soft. Anyway.
Dude.
I think if Donovan plays and Mike Conley does not play, I actually think Jazz will win. Because I think the Jazz showed you that they can play really fast. And the Clippers won the game by slowing the game down.
Yeah.
So if Conley plays, I don't think you can play as fast as you want. That is what concerns me. I think if Conley and Don play, you're going to have to play slower.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that plays to the Clippers' favor.
Totally.
I think one of the other things you need to watch tonight is who's the other guy that steps up. Is Jordan Clarkson going to be able to shoot well on the road?
Does Jordan Clarkson get a sniff at the starting lineup tonight?
No. Why would you? He's the only thing you have off the bench.
You need scoring, and when Joe comes off the bench, it's better.
But listen, the problem wasn't your starters. The problem was you came out in the third quarter and you did not compete.
Yeah, well, I think if you're the Utah Jazz, you've got to throw the kitchen sink at these guys. I mean, you got to have everybody going, and that's why I say, I have faith in Donovan. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Donovan. I have every ounce of faith that Donovan Mitchell's going to play. Mike Conley's the guy where I'm just like, dude, I don't have any faith that he'll play.
Cristobal Sanhueza.
Okay.
Suiza? Cristobal Sanhueza.
Right.
Welcome to the show. Prediction, Jazz 101, Clippers 99. No way it's that low. No way. Nope. Fibbo the man 1. Okay. Put Bogdanovich in the post a couple of times. Amen. Thank you. Yes. Put him in the post a couple of times. I would love to see that. As somebody rang my doorbell, I think. I would love to see that. No, it was a cat. Don't worry about it. Ring doorbell. I would love to see it. I think it was incredibly effective, and I think he's actually pretty good at it. Rylark says 115-97 Clippers. Jeez.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes with it tonight.
You think they're going to blow the Jazz out?
I think the game's going to be decided in the first half. I think because this team is soft mentally, if they're not in this game headed to the half, if they're down, let's say they're down 15 going into the half or something crazy like that, the game's over.
I'm telling you right now, if one of these teams is under 100, the Jazz are going to win.
Yeah,
because that means the Clippers didn't shoot well.
But they're not. They're not. Like the Clippers are going to be over 100. The question really is, are they going to be under 110 or is it going to be like 120, 125?
The winner of this game will score between 115 and 120.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's just not a reality in my opinion where the Jazz, because again, we all want to sit here, not all of us, but like the sentiment is, okay, if the Jazz are going to win this game, they got to play really good defense and like you're going to have to get a special performance out of somebody. And all I keep going back to is even if you get the special performance, the thing that I can't get over is that the Clippers understand how to defend you, and on the offensive end, they have the athleticism to beat you one-on-one. That's the problem. If you had elite perimeter defense, I could kind of see a situation where you'd win tonight, but I just don't see that. You're gonna literally, for them to win tonight, I want people to understand you're gonna have to shoot 55% from three on at least 40 attempts.
That's not happening.
Well,
not on the road. I have a hard time seeing that. I think if Mike Conley plays, they lose. I think if Mike Conley does not play, the Jazz win, and I think we see Game 7.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at with it. I think Conley's going to play. I think Don's going to play, and I think this game's going to be slow, and the Clippers are going to win. It's really
it's very frustrating. Yeah. It's very frustrating.
Rudy Sanchez says no hero ball tonight, more ball movement. Have to have it.
But see, I think the game is going to get to a point where Don is going to try and do that. Like that's the thing. Like at some point, that's going to happen. We even saw it last game. I mean, again. Great adjustment by Quin Snyder. This is why I don't have a problem with Quinn. Yeah, his out of timeout stuff is pretty garbage, to be honest with you. But the in-game tactical X's and O's adjustments are excellent. Putting Don on the ball last game worked. The problem is you went away from it. You were one team in the first half, totally different team in the second half. So tonight, I don't know what that adjustment is. There's not another adjustment to be made. That's the problem. That's why I say this trash from Woj about them potentially not playing is essentially what he's saying is crazy because
and somebody told him that. I mean is
somebody that's from inside the organization. Yeah,
that's a mistake. Tyler Ford says Clipper Nation at full force tonight too. Yeah, you're going to see 19,000 fans.
That's right.
At
That's a great
Staples
point.
Center.
It's going to be a full house tonight too. That's a great point.
Yeah, Black and Red HD says this year's collapse worse than last year's. Well, last year wasn't a collapse.
And let's not call it a collapse yet.
Yeah, this season's not over yet. Camo Tech says the Jazz will win, y'all. They are number one team in the NBA for a reason.
Wow. I'm glad you're in a good spot because I'm not.
Cambo Tech says Jordan Clarkson needs to play well off the bench for the Jazz to win. 25 points. Yeah, for sure. Scream at 333 says Staples Center is going to be at full capacity. Yes. Austin Parkin says, wait, after saying for days that Mike Conley needed to play, now you don't want him to play. No. I would love for him to play, but for me to hear Woj report that he's working up to being able to play tells me that he's not ready to play and that he's not going to be able to run up and down, which is what they need Mike Conley to do.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to jump stop and lob to Rudy, which is what they need Mike Conley to do. If he's not, it should be, you guys, it's 10:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know whether he's going to play or not.
He should be at morning shoot-around getting ready to go.
You know if he's going to play or not. And if you're saying he's still working up to it, he's not going to be good to go even if he does play. Mike Conley brings pace.
Yes.
And that's what won't be there if his hamstring is less than 65%. Look how slow James Harden's had to play.
Yeah, and look at all those buckets that the Bucks got. You know, with Middleton driving by him because he can't sidestep.
It's a problem, and that's what worries me about him. Shazar 756. Jazz are proving to be who the league thought they were, and they should take that personal. Yeah, Fibbo the man says they need to stop Jackson and Morris and just leave Paul George to do his thing because George is not going to outscore the Jazz. Well, he's been the best player in the series so far.
Did you see that 38 and 16 performance the other night?
Playing 46 minutes.
Come on, guy.
He's delivering.
He's showing up.
He's absolutely delivering. Last year was definitely a collapse. Bubble or not, we were up 3. Well, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
From that perspective, when you're up, whatever it was, 3-1 or whatever.
3-1, and you lost.
And you lost. I can hear you on that. But the bubble was just, it was so difficult to perform there.
Yeah.
Which is why when people are like, oh, the Lakers didn't win a real championship. Yeah, my ass. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That was one of the most difficult championships that's ever been won in any sport.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Game 7, Bucks, Nets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
I'm taking the Nets.
Yeah, I'm taking the Nets, too. I think that...
the Bucks are not a good road team.
They're not a good road team. The problem is they don't have the shooting to overcome it. So, you don't have... Like, Middleton is going to get his. I don't have any doubt about that. But the question is Drew Holiday gonna show up? I mean, is he going to do more than just play defense? Because they need him to, And, the thing is that the Nets defense is going to key on Middleton because when they keep him under 25 points, the Bucks have no chance of winning the game. The problem was yesterday they let him get 38 at home, and they won the game.
Yeah.
So
why wouldn't you have Bogdanovich guard the post?
Because Bogdanovich he has the strength, but he doesn't have the leaping ability. That's the problem. So, like, against Morris, it's fine, because Morris is a mid-range kind of savvy player.
Which is kind of who they're playing in the big.
Yeah. So, sure, do it. I mean, that's fine, but I just...
Him or Ingles?
You're picking your poison, dude. You're picking your poison, because if you're going to put those guys on the block, then you've got some issues on the wing. You've got some issues on the perimeter. So it's like, which way do you want to go? And again, I'll just say tonight, Rudy's got to be on his A game in terms of rim defense. He can't be picking up dumb fouls and getting all emotional. Like, you can't
let the
that,
Clippers
dude.
give you a rim job.
You can't do that, dude. Like, you've got to have you've got. I'm not humoring your garbage.
He just
jokes.
ignored it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Austin Parkins says, I've said it before, but you don't appreciate how good you had it as a Jazz fan until you move out east. Comment dump. Can't watch the games anymore. And what games you do get run until 1 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, we've experienced
Trust
that.
me.
I support the Bucks only since they are not a good road team. If ever the Jazz get through this finals, it's an advantage for the Jazz. Red Heart Norvis says yes. Eric C. says, rim job, LOL. Thank you. Somebody acknowledged it. I appreciate the chair. LOL and stuff. Okay. So, again, give me a final score prediction.
125-105 Clippers.
Oh, get out of here. You think the Clippers are winning by 20?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You said the Clippers are going to win by 20?
And I said that they were going to win on the road at the Viv, and nobody believed me.
Clippers are not winning by 20.
Okay.
They're going to win by 19.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I think they win by 10. I'm going to stick with 121,
The
111.
reason I think it's 20 instead of 10 is because I think at the end of the game, the Jazz are going to be are just going to be done. Like they're going to be tired. They're going to be.
Eric C says, "F out of here with that 20."
Yeah, well, you told me to go F myself when I said the Clippers were going to win on the road at the Viv, and look how that worked out for you.
Yeah, they did tell you to go F yourself. Nobody likes you though.
Yeah,
That's why
they don't like me because I'm right. That's the problem. I know what this team can do, and I know what they can't do, and they can't go on the road with a half-power Donovan Mitchell and a one-legged Mike Conley and think that they're going to win a game.
Well, and you steal all their girlfriends.
Yeah.
Austin Parkins says, which team will have collapsed harder if they lose this series, the Nets or the Jazz? The Nets.
Yeah,
but the Nets you can see are injured. I mean, and the Jazz are too. I mean, yeah.
The Nets it's a bigger collapse for the Nets because the Nets nationally, like league-wide, were expected to go to the NBA Finals. So if they don't, that's a problem.
Black and Red HD says, I like Jake.
Yeah, I know.
So you're the one.
Yes.
Anyway.
The only one.
Real quick before we get to killing people with Snapchat, how's the Hinge game?
It's okay. I mean, I know I say the same thing every time, and it's because nothing changes. You know, you have a bunch of people that you quote unquote like, you swipe to try to talk to, and you get the what's called and they invite you to chat. They invite you to have a conversation. You talk for like 5 minutes, and then they just like forget to come back or whatever. Like it's just a weird thing that happens on Hinge.
Yeah.
So
look, I think. Yeah, I'd like to. You need to get laid. I
want better fucking execution.
You are one guy. You are wound a little tight. In the bowels of the Jake Stadium, you're wound a little tight.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I'll be wound less tight if Don and Mike actually play the game.
Okay. I still think you need to find some. I mean, you might consider paying for it. I mean,
okay,
look,
Donnie.
It's not a crime in some country. I mean, it is in this country. I mean, you would be the guy who would go and buy a pro, and it'd be a cop.
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Yeah, probably.
I would so bail you out of jail, though.
Yeah,
And you'd still be on the podcast, by the way.
Yeah, and then I'd actually have a great story to tell.
Tanner Plummer says, well, at least Real Salt Lake is playing tonight. Yes, they are.
For real.
Yep. Yes, they are. Red Heart Norvis says you're getting laid is based on Mike Conley playing.
Guess I ain't never getting laid. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we're going to move on here.
Oh, Luca is cleaning the org up now. Well, yeah, I mean, what do you guys make of the Dallas situation? I mean, Mark Cuban very clearly did not fire Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle quit after Donnie Nelson, the 80-year GM of that team, was fired.
Donnie
Donnie. It's not been a good year for Donnie's losing their jobs. Donnie lost his job, and it's very clear that Luka Doncic is pulling a lot of strings there.
Yeah.
But this is what sports has come down to, which is why the Packers situation is so perplexing, because most teams sell out to their superstars, as you should. I mean, it's why, in my opinion, Terry Stotts is no longer in Portland, because Dame wanted a change.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, yeah, I mean, there is Dirk Nowitzki joined the Mavs. Well, I think everybody's known that was coming. I don't think that's any secret.
As a special advisor.
Yeah, I don't think that's any secret. I mean, I think that he was at all their playoff games essentially. The collapse against the Clippers, I think, did some real damage. I mean, you want to talk about a team that needs a roster makeover. They need to move Kristaps Porzingis. Those Luka and Kristaps don't get along. They don't like each other. They don't want to play together. I think that's one of the big failures ever. You know, it's one of those things that I just don't know how you.
I'm trying to find an update from a local Jazz guy.
Don't.
And there's no updates.
There's not.
There's no updates.
Tanner Plummer says, I'm starting to think Jake is more credible than Monty. How do you block people on YouTube? Red Hart Norvis says, Cuban will hire Luka's mom to confront him when the Mavs lose. Freudian slip with loose and Luka's mom. Jace Stagg says, Conley is playing tonight. Tanner, STFU, negative Nancy. Jace, I think you speak for a generation there. Brylark says that the Jazz know what's good for them. They will do everything in their power to keep Mitchell in Utah for as long as humanly possible. Well, you keep losing in the playoffs, and guys like Donovan Mitchell don't hang around long. You know, I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Know, it is what it is. All right, before we get out of here, so again, you're saying the Jazz are going to lose by 20.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Tanner, he's credible, right? The Jazz lose by 20. If they lose by
I can't wait for them to lose by 20 and Monday roll up in here and be like, hey, what's up, guys?
By the way, it's Father's Day. What did you get me?
I'm not going to freaking tell you what I got you. Get out of here.
Well, because I haven't gotten it yet.
Get out of here.
Are you going to the tattoo tomorrow?
You asked me to go. I said I would go.
So you're not going to go.
Here we go.
You have this girl that's a friend that's not a girlfriend who's, you know. So
yeah.
Are you spending time with her instead of your dad?
No, I'm not. I told you I was going to the tattoo. I told her I couldn't hang out to go to the tattoo. So I'm going to the tattoo.
No, see, in all seriousness, 100%. If you did that, you are not going with.
Okay.
Did you really do that?
Yes.
Oh, man. Why'd you do that? Anyway, you need to get. I'm telling you.
Okay. Whoever this is, the stud boy on Twitter is now following me.
The stud boy.
The stud boy.
He didn't follow me.
Oh, Mike Cohen. Cohen.
Okay, good. He does follow me.
All right.
All right, Mike. Appreciate
the
you.
The stud boy.
Appreciate you. Rudy to the Trailblazers, Bogey and Niang to the Mavs, Porzingis and Lillard to the Jazz in a three-way. No. You're not trading Rudy to the Portland
I like how we're
Trailblazers.
already talking about like 10-team trades for the Jazz this offseason.
I mean, who's the crackhead in Portland that's going to take Rudy Gobert for Damian Lillard?
You have a deal.
And by the way, Bogey and Niang to the Mavs for Kristaps Porzingis. Lillard to the Jazz in a three-way deal. No.
It's not fucking real.
That's never
right?
Well, I mean, the best we're going to do is a crappy offensive player who's a pretty good defender. Wait, don't we already have that in our center? Yeah, we do, but, you know.
We'll do it.
No, we won't. Doesn't there need to be moves made if we blow it tonight, though? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that Monday. We're not going to, because I have said on this show we're not going to do the fire Quinn. Dennis is a douche and cut everybody. We're not doing that on this show. Dennis will be a douche on Monday, too.
Let's consult the douche meter.
He'll be a douche on Monday, too. Trust me. You can still fire Quinn Monday.
You're a douche.
If they lose tonight, which I'm not convinced that they will.
Dude.
So.
Okay.
I'm not all in on it. You know.
You've gone back and forth.
I'm not at all confident. If Mike Conley plays, it worries me. Now that I hear that from Woj, it's like, good Lord, man, what are we doing? All right, I'm hungry. I want to eat breakfast.
I'm
it's an hour
too.
and 15 minutes
Seriously,
into it.
I'm hungry too.
Snapchat
in 2013 rolled out a filter where you could measure your speed. Okay? It was like a speed gun, basically.
Is that like a phallic reference to your junk or no?
No.
I've never called my my bro down there the speed either, but you
see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Yeah, I know you are.
I mean, it is 20 seconds of glory. But,
Yeah, it is. I know. Yeah, anyway, point is, Snapchat rolled out a speed filter, and people started dying. They started driving on the freeway at 120 miles an hour.
So a speed filter is where you can turn on the filter on Snapchat, drive really fast, and take a picture, and it'll show that you were driving 120 miles an hour when you took the picture.
The problem is that people were running into trees and dying, and then Snapchat was getting sued. So Snapchat has taken down the speed filter. So it begs the question, how much do you use your phone while you drive?
I never use my phone while I drive. Occasionally I will look at it at lights. You never see me. I've really worked hard on this not to dick with my phone while I'm driving because it's just there's no upside to it. And we all have smartphones now and displays and Apple CarPlay and I mean, would you agree? You drive with me a lot. I've gotten better at not looking at my phone.
Yes, you have.
I used to look at it a lot.
Yeah, you did.
And, as an elite operator of motor vehicles with fuel, not gas, and motors, not engines, I feel like I used to use my phone too much. And so I don't do that anymore. I don't think Snapchat's responsible for this in any way, shape, or form.
No, they're not.
Snapchat's being sued for millions.
Yeah.
Because teenagers who use Snapchat's speed filter wrap themselves around a tree.
And they're saying the filter encouraged that behavior.
And the parents are suing because they're saying that Snapchat made that possible.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
I really do. And one of my biggest pet peeves in this country is we have very little self-accountability. Mm-hmm. We make mistakes and we blame everybody else. The Jazz lost. Well, Mike Conley was hurt. Well, blame Mike Conley, not the Jazz. Right? Like blame Dennis Lindsey, not
Quin,
right? We have zero self-accountability in this country. And the other thing that makes me nuts is we have zero respect for the people around us. Coronavirus be damned. People won't wear a mask. Well, I'm not going to get it. Okay.
The coronavirus.
Wearing a mask is not about you. It's about me. And people don't care. When people are driving, I cannot tell you how many times in the great state of Utah, people will cut you off to go 10 miles slower than you are going. And it's like, well, they're more important than you. And it's like a lady walked up behind me in the store the other day and bumped me with a cart. And I want to turn around and I didn't. But it drives me crazy when people do stuff like that.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
You bump me with a cart again, lady, and I'm knocking you No, anyway.
Because I'll drop that motherfucker.
I'm kicking your husband's ass. You bump me with that cart again. The point is, I just think that driving pet peeves, I hate people who are on their phones.
Yes.
I hate people who, people that tow their boats in the carpool lane on the 15. I mean, I should have the right to just absolutely pull up my gun and blow your tires out. What? It shouldn't be allowed. Campers in the carpool lane, buses in the carpool lane. No, you're being a dick, man. That drives me crazy.
Yep.
In driving, use a turn signal. Don't turn in. Don't make a turn at 3 miles an hour for 5 minutes. It's not that difficult. It's called power steering, Mabel. Right? Gas is on the right, bro.
I love the guy who sits at the red light in the turn lane, the left-hand turn lane. Turn arrow turns green. He sits there long enough to eat up the entire green turn arrow, sees that it's then green, and it immediately turns to yellow. He makes it through the intersection, and you don't.
I hate that so much.
It's a dick move.
So we were coming out of Harmon's in South Jordan the other day. Mm-hmm. And there's a lady in a Honda CRV.
Yeah.
Falls asleep at the light, turning left onto 114th.
Mm-hmm.
And that light is 20 seconds long. So I honk my horn at her, which I'm known to do. I'm a horn honker. Yes.
What?
She goes, I ran the light because I didn't want to sit at the light.
I don't give a baker's fuck.
I'm beyond the law. And I wind up behind her in traffic.
Uh-huh.
So traffic on 114th at Bangalore is terrible. This lady is on her phone and falls asleep. The light turns green.
What's wrong with you?
So I have to honk my horn again to get her to go. And what did I get? Oh, hey, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I just want people to realize that when you do that or you cut me off or you're swerving lanes and you're like, oh, hey, sorry about that. The wave doesn't excuse you being a dick and a terrible driver.
Seriously.
Okay, I feel better.
Woo! All right.
Don't wave at me.
All right. Okay. So, Jazz fans, tonight, I'll meet you on Twitter. Okay? I'll meet you on Twitter. It's going to be a good time.
Mark Alexander Urel says, cold approach, Jake. Cold.
Yeah, hey,
Utah really should make a play for Chris Paul in free agent. Stop. The water's wet and Chris Paul's hurt in the playoffs. Are you serious?
You already have your Chris Paul. His name is Mike Conley.
Jay Stagg says, if Niang plays tonight, we're done. Probably. Black and Red HD says, they're turning really late in the middle of the road that's 50 miles per hour. I hate that.
Yeah.
Brylark says, off topic, we need 2 different horns in cars. One that is loud, obnoxious, and one that is quieter, more subtle. Yes. Driftwood says, masks don't work unless it's an N95 or better. Okay.
There we go.
Austin Lewis says, thanks for responding to my tweets. By the way, guys, it's pretty cool of you.
Yeah.
Do we tweet with Austin? Okay.
Apparently we do. We tweet with a lot of people.
We tweet with a lot of people. No offense. I mean, we love the interaction on the show.
I want to say that I'm thinking about it, and I want to say that he was in a thread, a Jazz conversation thread that we were. I'm pretty sure I remember tweeting with him in a couple other people at once.
Yeah, well, hey, drop your Twitter handles in here in the YouTube comment section, or if you're on the podcast, find us on Twitter, The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show, SLC Supercars for Jake. Like Cody Strickland's one of our guys. Like we sent him a video today just because he's like, hey,
by the way,
hey man, you guys doing a show today? Today?
I got to call out Cody Strickland. Guy, he talked a bunch of garbage about how he was really good at Call of Duty. I got the Call of Duty all dialed up on the Xbox. Played last night, and Cody was nowhere to be found. So
okay. Get a life, Jake.
Yeah.
Austin Lewis says, yeah, my Twitter handle was like Austin801-732-8125. Like your phone number. Tanner Plummer says, hasn't been a good year for Donnie's. You got that right. Look at Emperor Palpatine's temper tantrum back on January 6th. Okay. Andy Browickez says, Brylark, CP3 will not go to Utah because CP3 don't want to be on a super team. Well.
Hey.
No, I'm not doing it. Play the music because we got to go. Make sure you find us on Twitter. We'll be there. Make sure you hit like right now on this video, thumbs up, and please subscribe. We're giving away an Xbox Series S as soon as we get to 1,500 subscribers. And let me pull open the old YouTube admin app. And see where we are. We were at 10:30 or something yesterday. Wow, 10:53. I like it. 20 subs a day, every day, man. It's the way it should be. We'll be on Twitter tonight for the Jazz game. We will talk to you Monday morning at 6:30. We'll be live 6:30 Mountain Time. And then, of course, we always post the show afterwards. Until Monday, say Jazz win in 7, Jake.
Nah, fam. I ain't saying that.
I ain't about
saying
that.
All right. Have a nice weekend, people.
See you Monday. Happy Father's Day, everybody.